I go and I look at who is getting foreclosed on, because it's a train, it's leaving the station, right? Gonna drop off and the people are gonna get kicked out of their house whether I help them or not.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the podcast. We have Troy Kearns on the Rainmakers podcast today. Troy, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you, Nick?
Good, man. It's good to have you. Thanks for joining us today. So Troy and I, we're just talking a little bit about his story. This is our first time actually connecting. Troy, I love your experience, like how you've gone from, sales to what you're doing now. Give us a little bit of the background you're telling me.
Yeah, so I kind of tell you, I'm going to go way back, actually. I gave you the highlight, but when I'm a poor kid from Washington, and so I got a job very early at Burger King at 15. And I remember I was working the drive-thru, and it was great. I had a job making $5.25 an hour. I remember I was just I didn't have any money, and I saw these people driving through in these nice cars, and I would just compliment people you've got a really nice car. Then people started handing me money. And I right away realized that, compliments equal people giving you stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense. So, as I moved in my restaurant career, I ended up working at Red Robin as a dishwasher, turned the dishwasher into busboy into expo into waiter into cocktailer. I started picking up some tips about how to become a good salesperson through that way, compliment people. And then I would try strategies when people would order a double, would order a drink. I knew people like to drink at the bar as a cocktailer. And I knew it was only $1.50 more for a double. And I knew that when people drank, they'd give me bigger tips. So I would always say, you want a double, right? And they'd say, no. And I'd say, it's only $1.50 more. And they'd say, yes. And so I kind of picked up some tips and tricks from that sort of thing, from selling and from getting to know people as a waiter. I think the service industry is a great way to learn how to sell yourself and how to, earn stuff. So I went to college because I was worried about missing out. Went to Central Washington University. I had to get an internship in that for that degree, and so it was either an internship or a thesis. I got an internship at Intercom Radio, the third largest radio corporation in America at that point in time. They had me work for 100.7 The Buzz FM. I turned the internship into a job. The job sucked. I was a promotions director. It's not my skill point. One of the guys became friendly with was a sales guy, young guy. His name is Jeff Sears, still a good friend of mine to this day. And he's like, you should get into sales. I sold myself to the guy to hire me as a sales guy. It was 100% commission. Looking back.
What age were you at this point?
I was 23 or 24, right around there. And just fresh out of college. And I went through, we had a good training program at that. It was Intercom Radio. They had a really good training program. And they told us, they would give us statistics, the number one people who spend money in sales are car dealerships. At that point in time, every car dealership and every major corporation was controlled by what is called an agency, which not a digital agency, but they would place the advertising. And we had what is called direct and agency. Agency paid 6%, you had to get the agency to work with you. And direct paid 19%, and it was just you going directly to the person. And so that's what I did. I went after every car dealership and every mortgage company in Washington. I became the number one guy. And I went after where everybody else didn't go. I went to Tacoma, Washington. Everybody was going in Seattle. I went to Tacoma. And the first year, I became the number one direct biller, and I won Sales Club. And then the next year, during that Sales Club, they're after I won Sales Club, they told me, oh, by the way, we're switching the format, which I was 100% on my format. They're we're switching the format to country. Well, we were all male. We were a Howard Stern hot talk type of thing. That's all male. We went from all male to all female. Country's 65% female. So I went to the boss at that point in time, and I was very confident because my numbers were out of control. And I said, I beat everybody single-handedly. If you add up everyone, all the other 7 salespeople, my numbers, I beat them 1 to 7. I beat them all. You can add all those up. I said, so I don't feel like what you're doing is fair to me. I think I need a guarantee, right? I shouldn't be you should guarantee me because I got to go rebuild this business. She's like, well, if we had to do that for you, we're going to have to do that for everybody. I'm like, I'm special. She's like, no, you're not. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went to Sales Club in Las Vegas. I went and got my license. I told them to extend my trip. I took my real estate class down there. I got my license and I moved down to Vegas and said, see you later. And then I became the number one sales. I had some downtime. I realized I was an alcoholic during that time. So I quit drinking. Once I quit drinking, I freaking crushed it. and I had a rough year from 2006 to 2007 because I hadn't quit yet. And so once I quit in 2007, 2008, I was, the top 5 sales guy in all of real estate. And in the next 5 years, I'd sell 2,200 homes in 5 years. And wow, so sales is where it's at. And that's taken me through my career.
That's incredible. And let's tell the people how what you do now for work.
Yeah. So when you have an identity crisis sometimes. So as a realtor, right? So I have this identity as a realtor, and I'm more investing now that I am like working with people, and I really don't enjoy like going and sitting in somebody's house and telling them what I know is an excellent decision or what I'm good at to try to convince them. Even though real estate sales is a great way to earn money, I was just kind of past that point. And I had been investing and flipping and doing all this stuff for years, and it was making more money doing that than anything else, but I was still earning commissions, and I was having a hard time. And I was also waiting for that foreclosure crisis to come around again, because I made a lot of money during that time. So I've been investing actively since 2009, okay? And I built up a pretty big portfolio of about 350 rental properties, and most of them single family, some of them not. I own a skyscraper down here in Kansas City that I'm in right now. So I decided that I was going to go and move my family to Kansas City and go all in. And I started social media. A good friend of mine who got me into it is a guy named Ryan Pineda. I took him down. I was selling him my crap online, like the houses that I wouldn't buy that he was buying. I'm like, he's buying these crappy houses and I'm buying deeper deals. And I was like, why are you doing this? And he's like, it's all about the education. And I was like, break it down for me. And he showed me underneath the hood. He showed me what he was doing. He was an excellent advocate, friend, and everything. He's like, yeah, you should go all the way in. So I did. Mm-hmm. And then,
How long have you known Ryan?
Man, I've known him probably since 2016.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
My social media team is working with his social media team right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, he's
great guys.
I just played golf with him on Friday. And super sharp guy. I mean, like I told him personally to himself, I'm like, you're one of the guys that I hang around with, and I'm like, I need to step my game up. And very few people make me do that. And
Ryan's one of them.
Yeah, Ryan is definitely one of them. He continues to reinvent himself, and you can judge yourself by your failures and your successes, not just by your successes. And
I love that, Troy.
Yeah, so that's my story. And then I started a mentorship program that was in 2022. We started that. My wife's like, are you going to make any money off this social media? I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I'm here for. And so we launched it June of 2022. And since then we've helped, hundreds of people buy over $60 million of real estate. But Nick, what I'm most proud of is that my guys are making $50, $60, $70, $80, $90,000 on flips that are selling for under $200,000. Like,
it's amazing.
Yeah. So
which markets are you guys buying in?
Any market, all over the country. All over the country. Where are you at, Nick?
What do you recommend right now for would people complain about the interest rates being so high, Troy, for trying to cash flow on properties? I know for real estate investors, cash flowing right now is a little tougher unless you use certain methods like, buying certain markets like Ohio or Alabama and I know a lot of guys doing Section 8 that are cash flowing more than just traditional rentals and same with Airbnb. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm going to answer all of those questions. Okay, so first of all,
yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, so first of all, you always cash flow on a deal, no matter. You just do the math, right? So You got to buy deeper, right? Like most people, they don't know what they're doing when it comes to investing in real estate. They don't understand it. And here's what I'm going to say one thing. If they're a business owner like yourself and they're making a lot of money, the tax benefits alone make it that if you barely cash flow, you can eliminate your taxes. If you're paying $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 million in taxes, you should be investing in real estate because
absolutely
you can eliminate all of that. So that's number one, right? Number two, if you're just a regular investor and you're not cash flowing, that means you're not buying deep enough deals. Like you're not buying deep enough. So buy deeper.
What do you mean deep enough deals? Expound on that.
Well, it means that you're looking on market, probably.
So you got to do a little bit more digging to find those off-market deals, people in foreclosures.
Yeah, absolutely. Pre-foreclosures is my favorite.
Okay. How do you hunt those down?
Okay, so what I do is I go and I look at who is getting foreclosed on because it's a train. It's leaving the station, right? it's gonna drop off, and the people are gonna get kicked out of their house whether I help them or not. So my wife used to say, "You just made $100,000 on that deal. Why are those people so happy?" I said, "Because I solved their problem." For them, it's not about the money. If it's about the money, they're not doing a deal with me.
And what's their problem? Their problem is disparity, right? They're like foreclosing their home, financial crisis, and you give them a bunch of cash for the home. Is that what you're talking about?
Nick, it could be anything. And you just have to listen. I think, sales is all about listening and understanding. So what I teach my students is I'm like, you have to go in there and listen to what is going on with them. It could be somebody died. It could be alcoholism. It could be just a bad break. They could have they can't keep up anymore, and they just need and they're crippled, they're embarrassed, they're ashamed. That's why the property's not on the market. And now they've made every bad decision, and you're there to help them. And so what you could do is you could say, listen, you don't have to be blighted by this scar on your credit of a foreclosure. You can stop the foreclosure from happening, save your good name and credit, and we can get you some time in your house and money in your pocket. And usually with that situation, and that's all about sub 2. You hear about sub 2, guys teach you sub 2. We can buy that subject to the existing mortgage, where we can take over the mortgage. We can use that person's mortgage. We can flip the property. We can do a bunch of different things that way.
I love that. Well, Troy, I love what you said. What your wife commented, like, Troy, how are you're making $100,000 on these flip. Like, how is that a good thing for these people? Like what are they getting out of that?
Right.
And that's the more I do business, and the more I win and fail, the more I learn that you really do. If you can bring more value, you get paid more, right? You get paid in accordance to how much value you bring to the marketplace. And for these people, it's a unique situation that you're putting yourself in to find these people that are in desperate situations. They don't know what to do. Your team is listening to them, and you're helping them solve the solution the solution for them is what you guys present is not foreclosing, not ruining your reputation, right, and your credit. How do you find these people, Troy?
So it's public notice. When anybody gets foreclosed on, they have to file what is called a notice of default. Okay. So that's the first step. Okay. The first step is they file a notice of default. That is generally most people are not coming back from that. So we want to get them on the notice of default. The second thing that they're going to file is a notice of trustee sale. Both of those are filed on the recorder's office, or you can use data aggregators like PropStream, Deal Machine, Foreclosure Radar, Property Radar. All these sites are going to aggregate that data. What I really teach.
So you're going through all the data. You guys cold calling them to.
The best way, believe it or not, is actually to go to the door, because most of the times their phones are disconnected. They don't want to talk to anybody, and you go up there and you're like, "Hey, I can help you."
Yeah, not here to judge you. Like,
I'm here to help you. Let me tell you what I do. I help people exactly like you stop foreclosures from happening, save their good name and credit, and put money in their pocket and allow them to stay in their home. Now, they know they're not going to stay in their home forever. They know that you're not a good Samaritan, that you're going to make money. That's also
right.
But you don't have to rub their face into it. You go over there and you say you're empathetic and you listen to them. And they're like, and if they're like, well, I want to save this home. If you have a couple options. You could file bankruptcy. You could let the house go to foreclosure, or you could work with me and we could come up with a solution for where you're at now to try to get you to the next stage of your life.
So what's your I love that. What's your process look like? You meet these people, if you're training one of your people to you approach their door, you're talking to them. Like, are you spending your first 5, 10, 15 minutes building rapport? Do you go straight into hey, we heard about what's going on. Here's a solution. What's your process?
I have not patented this yet, so don't steal it from me, but it's called, I like to call my sales process the 3 C's: compliment, confidence, and credibility. Number one, I want to find something that I can relate to them about, and I want to compliment them on it. If I'm walking up to the car, I'm looking at their license plate. What does it say on their license plate? I'm looking at their flower bed. I'm looking at anything that I can say something nice about, that I'm genuinely oh, my kid is an honor student at blah, 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 blah. I'm going to say, listen, I love that you put that on there. That's so amazing that you raised an honor student. That everybody should be proud of that. That's amazing, right? And so if your name's Barbara, I love that name, Barbara. That's a great name. Whatever I can compliment and I can be sincere about, I'm going to say that.
Okay.
Confidence is what I exude. I know what I'm doing. Right. I know what I'm doing, right? So I'm going to come up there. And credibility, I'm going to say, we've helped hundreds of people that are in your exact same situation stop the foreclosure from happening up until the last minute. We've stopped that. We've given them time in their house, and we've given them cash in their pocket. And we could help you the exact same way.
I love that. Troy, I love the process there. I want to pick your brain on your career. So you mentioned you rose to the top in both radio sales, right?
Yes.
And in real estate.
And I will be the top coaching program for not for revenue, for helping people achieve their dreams.
So a couple of things I want to hit off right off the bat. What was similar, like behind your success becoming a top performer in sales in both radio and in real estate, because they're very different? What was similar, and then what was different?
So first of all, believing that I can is the number one thing, is believing that I am able to do that, right?
Like belief in yourself? Belief
in myself, that I'm able to do it. Like that's the number one, okay?
What helped you with that?
I think it's like fuel. Like you have to continue to fuel yourself with the belief in yourself and surround yourself with not only like what we're consuming, like a podcast like this, that like they should definitely subscribe to your podcast, Nick. But like stuff like this, if they're listening to like the favorite country song or the favorite rap song, and they're not trying to build themselves and personally develop themselves, then they're not going to get there. So we continue to work on a lot about personal development. I read like all the Dale Carnegie books, all of the books that are out there on personal development, consume those, listen to the right audiobooks, listen to tips on negotiation, go to the right seminars, surround myself with the right people, okay? Then I got to figure out what business I'm in. Where's the money coming from? So for radio, I was like, it's coming from car business. They spend X amount of dollars. If I get car businesses, I don't need to go, like I watched everybody else just fail. Then it was finding out there's a million people that can say no to me. Who can say yes? The owner has the ability. He writes the check. Why am I going to the marketing director? I don't care what he says. He's got to kick it back up to the owner. I go to the decision maker. He can say yes. So finding out who can say yes quickly, and don't go into, like I watched all these guys around me. They go, hey, can I talk to the person who handles your sales and marketing? And I'm like, what is this guy? I'd be like, can I talk to Rich Snyder? He's the owner of Sound Ford in Renton, Washington.
Yeah, you're not wasting your time. You're getting right to the decision maker.
Right to the decision maker. Same thing with real estate. I was like, I got myself educated. They're like foreclosures. I knew foreclosures were happening. I looked at all the foreclosure sites. I'm like, who is the one that assigns these foreclosures? Oh, it's asset management companies. Where are they based out of? Oh, they're based out of Dallas, Texas. I'm going to Dallas, Texas. I'm going to be friends with the people who assign those assets. I'm going to build a relationship with them. I had no experience in this business. None. Okay. And so I became the guy, and then I have experience. All of a sudden I got them. I have the experience. Oh, now we're this guy. So same thing. Like, I don't know anything about social media. I don't know anything about podcasts or coaching. I study. Like, I have consumed every Russell Brunson book. I have consumed YouTube coaching. I have consumed all of this stuff, and I'm obsessive. So that's what it takes to win.
I like that. I've seen this common trend where salespeople do not get in front of a decision maker fast enough. Why do you think that is? Well, why do you think is it they're reluctant? Are they afraid? Are they just not bold enough to ask questions like, are you the decision maker? Why do you think a lot of salespeople waste their time not talking to decision makers?
Well, I think it's two things. I think first, it's lack of knowledge, and second, it's lack of confidence. And, like, you're very confident. You come on, you're like bossing me around a little bit. I kind of liked it. You're like, hey, I turned the light down, do this. But I was like, hey, like, he knows, like, as for me, like, I could tell you know what you're doing. So, like, I'm going to take that. Yeah. I'm going to take that advice. When you come in, and so maybe salespeople, they have the imposter syndrome. They don't know what they're freaking doing, right? And so, like, you have to believe that whatever you're doing is going to help that person. And if you believe that, then you're gonna not stop until you actually get them to do it. Now, if you're not inspired by your product, you should sell a different product.
Amen to that. I always say you got to get sold before you try to sell other people. We were talking a little about my mission experience, right? When I was 19 to 21, I served a mission for a church and in Brazil, selling Jesus for free. In fact, I paid $10,000 to be out there.
I heard about that. That's crazy.
But that experience taught me what sales really is. Yeah. And it's connecting with other human beings. And when you have a sincere desire to improve and bless their life, you have a lot of conviction, and that conviction leads to confidence. That confidence sells, because nobody wants to do business or be around somebody that doesn't believe in what they're doing. And you don't even have to say anything. They can just sense it. Like, you have an aura of confidence about you, or a lack of confidence, depending on how sold you are. And I think the problem with a lot of salespeople is they get so much rejection, they start internalizing it and they think, okay, well, maybe this isn't that good of a product, or maybe I'm not that good of a salesperson. When reality is, you have to continually sell yourself in between the no's and tell yourself why you're doing what you're doing.
Totally agree. One of the guys that worked with me at Red Robin told me a long time ago that I had dollar signs for eyeballs. And I took that in, but they also told me each no is one closer to a yes. And so I've always believed in that. Like, I know that if I knock on enough doors, if I talk to enough people, what am I getting? I'm getting better. I'm not, and people they're internalizing, like you said, Nick, they're taking that as rejection. I'm taking it as, that's practice. Yeah. I tell all my people, if you're going to call somebody, leave a freaking voicemail. Don't sit there and just hang up. They don't know that you called. Leave a voicemail. That's your time to practice.
I love that. There's a common perspective I've noticed with the top performers that no matter what happens, they're winning. You get a rejection, and the loser's mentality is, oh, wow, I'm a failure. They don't want me. In a winner's mindset, it's, I'm getting closer to a yes, because statistically, if I suck, I'm going to sell 1 in 30 people I talk to, right? And so every time I get a no, well, cool, I'm getting closer to my next yes. And so you kind of you change your mindset on failure. Yeah. And I think this is one of the beautiful things about sales, and why it's probably one of the best skills you can learn outside of marketing early on in life, is because it teaches you and internalizes the mindset. You don't have to be afraid of failure, right? And it also teaches you have to be sold and passionate about what you do. And it teaches you also how to communicate and convey things with confidence.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Nick. In fact, one thing that you mentioned right there about, the whole thing is, is marketing or sales better? I'm going to tell sales every time, because if you got marketing and you're lighting it up, but you can't close jack crap, it doesn't mean anything. And I would say that sales wins always in my business. Sales leads. Sales is first, and then everything else will follow. Because you can fix your problems, but you can't fix sales if you don't have good sales. You can fix your fact that you don't have good marketing. You can fix a lot of those other things. But if you got bad sales, I know you coach people on sales, but if you have bad sales, you can't do anything.
Right. Yeah, it's very true. I think they definitely go hand in hand. I think the sales is an essential skill to master. I've seen people skip it, that master marketing, and deploy salespeople, but they still need sales. Their marketing would not work without it. Now, good marketing does make a sale easier, right? Because there's trust, there's a brand.
Yes.
Yeah, but to establish that level of marketing it takes world-class marketing skills, right? And very, very, very few people have that.
Yeah.
But sales is just an essential part of all business. Sales, operations, marketing, those are the big three in my book. What advice do you have, Troy, for people in sales, like just anybody that wants to get into real estate or become a top performer? Let's say they're doing okay, they're kind of average, and they're trying to get to another level. What's your advice for them?
Well, my advice to anybody would be to write a statement of desire, okay? And that's from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, which is, you have to decide and make a decision what you want in life. It doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to be like Nick. You don't have to be like Troy. You can be whoever the best version of yourself is. And you have to write that, and you have to believe that, and you have to brainwash yourself into believing it. That's the first thing. And, I always tell people habits are built. Our habit maybe to go to the bathroom in the morning and brush our teeth. So put that statement out, read it out. It takes 24 seconds, to write a statement or to read it out loud every morning. And then start to believe that you are capable of doing that. And once you brainwash yourself into believing what you're capable of, set your sights on that and just go and attack it, and don't quit until you get there. I mean, listen, quitting, if you have the ability to never, ever, ever quit, no matter what, right? You might have to change paths a little bit because maybe you're on the wrong path. I've certainly have been that way before. But as long as you're still going the same direction, never, ever quit. And sometimes, honestly, that's backfired a little bit for me because I had a towing business, which was not a good business. And I have the never quit mentality. And my wife's like, you need to quit. And I'm like, okay, how do I change my plan here and move it around? Because I'm so a believer in never quitting. But I think that if people have a statement of desire of what they want and the ability that they believe in themselves to never quit, they'll get exactly what they want, no matter what it is.
I love that. I love that, Troy. There's a consistent theme that you're preaching. It's sell yourself, work on yourself, build yourself. And that was kind of your focus with both, your business experience, sort of building yourself and your belief in yourself that you have the capability of becoming great. And then sell yourself on your business and become great in that aspect, to get the confidence as well. I believe confidence in sales and in business stems from personal, right? And how you live your life, your integrity, your personal successes, your relationships, your financial freedom. That's part of it. It's all real. You can't ignore that. And then it also comes from your passion and company in your industry knowledge, right? And so personal life and your industry, you take the two together, I think that's where a lot of confidence comes from.
Yeah, I think that what I have found out is if I let myself down, I lose my confidence. If I make these ambitious goals, my wife has called me out on this. She's like, you can't do that to yourself. Like one area where I'm always trying to get, you're in really good shape. I'm not. I need to get in better shape. So I'll be like, I'm going to do this. She's like, you set these unrealistic goals sometimes. And, I think that you have to, no matter what it is, you have to set realistic goals that you can hit and start stacking wins. Yep. So that, versus I'm going to do a 90-day challenge. I'm going to freaking get shredded and then I'm going to go back to whatever didn't work before. Big results happen over long periods of time, not instantaneously. I'm sure you didn't get in the shape you're at, Nick, by just going to the gym once and saying, yeah, that worked. You probably in there religiously, right? Yeah.
And for me, my secret for everything I do, Troy, is I don't focus on a big goal. I have big goals in the back of my mind, but the more I focus on that, you have this big wave of motivation. It usually comes every now and then, right? Doesn't matter who you are. Yeah. It comes and it goes. And so I don't focus on the outcome, AKA the goal, AKA the result. I focus on the input, right? What am I doing? The process, not the prize. And I focus on that. I have big wins. Cool. You made $100,000. Cool. I don't care. Going. I'm on the road, right? I just gained 15 pounds of muscle, lost 5% body fat. Cool. I don't care. I'm just going. It's just grind. And I started with little things, just implementing, right, from Atomic Habits.
Love that book. Love that book.
So good. So good. I just made a YouTube video on it. I'm excited to share it. But I fully agree with you. It's just doing the little things, focus on the process. And another thing for me is uncovering the limiting beliefs of we tell ourselves lies. Yeah. It doesn't matter in any area of our life. We can't do this because of this. Address that concern. My mentor that's worth half $1 billion, this is one of the biggest things he's taught me is he wakes up every morning and he says, what is my limiting belief? What is causing me anxiety about today? What am I worried about that I can't do?
Right.
And he manifests the opposite. He addresses it head on. He doesn't run from it. And he hits it head on and says, if it's, hey, I can't work, I can't make 12 calls and show up for my wife today. He manifests the exact opposite of that. And so I'm a big believer in that stuff, Troy, and just executing. So
Nick, you got a great kind of a segue there for a book. You just mentioned Atomic Habits. Another book that I'm working on right now myself is called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And what happens, it's by a guy named Joe Dispenza. And what he talks about is exactly what your mentor is saying, which is all of our limiting beliefs and all of our beliefs in ourselves are based on our past, not on our future. And we have to self-program ourselves to believe what can happen in our future. And that could be prayer, that could be meditation, that could be anything. And I'm working on that myself personally, journaling and getting better at myself. So what you said is 100% true.
Love that, Troy. Well, Troy, where can the people follow you? Where can they find you on social media?
Just Google Troy Kearns on all the socials. And I'm out there. So just the Troy Kearns or Troy Kearns, you'll find me, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. That's where I hang out mainly. I'm on all the other ones too, but that's where I usually hang out.
Dude, thank you for the time. I've loved picking your brain on the sales, on business, on the real estate. That was excellent. Awesome content for our viewers. So thank you, Troy.
Yeah, Nick, I'd love you to come check out our sales department if you ever have any tips or tricks or you want to take a look at taking it on. We're always looking for guys to run our sales business. We're doing a ton of business right now on the coaching platform, and our sales is something that we're constantly trying to improve on.
I love it. I'd love to talk, man. Thanks, Troy.
All right. Thanks, brother. Okay. On November 10th and 11th in Kansas City, Missouri, we are hosting our mastermind event, which is where you're going to learn how to wholesale, flip, buy and hold, BRRRR, every single real estate strategy under the sun, happening November 10th and 11th in Kansas City, Missouri, right downtown in the building that I bought, using the methods that we will teach you, and you will have everything that you need to get started investing in real estate. We're going to have attorneys there to set up your asset protection trusts, LLCs. We're going to have sales and marketing funnel experts to help you set up your sales and marketing funnels. We're going to have a tax consultant to make sure that you can eliminate your taxes. And then we're going to have all of the experts, all people who have retired from their 9-to-5, who are going to speak on you, how they become multimillionaires through investing in real estate. And they're going to teach you the strategies that they use and do every day so that you can become financially free by investing in real estate. That's November 10th and 11th in Kansas City, Missouri. Go to millionairementorshipmastermind.com. Buy your ticket today.